let me say a special good morning to Grenada, the mainland. Our sister Isles, Carrie Coo, Petit Martini, good morning to one and all. Let's say good morning also to those of you listening via Classic Radio, 105.5, 105.9. Good morning to you, those of you via GBN TV, whether you're viewing Channel 7, Channel 11, or Channels 20. Good morning, welcome. Our social media audience also, those of you via our Facebook page, good morning, our YouTube channels, and those of you who are viewing and listening via GBN's web page, let me say good morning to you. Hope all is well. Welcome to another edition of To The Point, today being Wednesday, the 26th day of April. And welcome. With me this morning, I do have guests in studio with me. We have for you the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of MIT. I think I'll just shorten it a wee bit. We have Ms. Peron Johnson. Let me say good morning to Peron. Good morning, and how are you? I guess I could call you Peron. It's kind of know each other kind of vibe. So I could say good how you do this morning. Welcome.
Morning. Thank you, Glenn, and very happy to be here. And may I also take the opportunity to say good morning to the listening public here in Grenada, and also those listening via the various social media platforms in the diaspora. Good morning. All right.
We also have Mr. Elcock. You gave me a first name, but I'll just say Mr. Elcock, and he's here representing physical planning this morning. So, Elcock, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, and I'm happy to be here.
All right. This morning's discussion is like a prelude of what we had last week when we did have the Minister of the Ministry of the MIT together with, of course, Mr. I keep always saying, I don't want to say his name. I just say Mr. Ram.
Mr. Ram.
I'll just go with Mr. Ram. He was here last night. We spoke about the health factor in terms of the whole ministry dealing with all the dirt removals and everything like that. He spoke on length about that last week. Now, today we have physical planning with us. And, of course, Ms. Johnson here with us, of course. She's going to give us, of course, a little feedback in terms of how the ministry, of course, fits in with the physical planning. Now, let's kick it off with Mr. Elcock this morning. As we continue with the cleanup campaign, if I could simplify it in that way, by the Ministry of MIT, and how does physical planning come into play with the projects that have been put down now by the Ministry of MIT?
All right. Good morning to the listening public once again. We fit in this way. Our Act speaks to derelict vehicles. Our Act speaks to development, right? Development have a prescribed format which it should happen, right? Outside that format, it's illegal.
Okay.
So the removal of most of the structures on the side of the road, these buildings have been illegal, and there are some that remain still illegal, right? So we have a prescribed setting which development should be done in an orderly manner. So most of these booths and trailers and movable caravans, the food trucks and stuff, they are within the road reserve. So they would be removed. So that is how we come in, because we have the Act to allow movements of these vehicles or buildings.
All right. In speaking of the Act, as you mentioned, how does the Act play into, of course, let's simplify to say an individual. let's go in the direction of derelict for now. An individual has a food truck, as you so rightfully said, and it's parked in a particular area, and could be an obstruction in some way or the other, or where it's located, it's in a way that is in trenches on the public domain, if you could say it in that way. How does the Act fit in, and how does physical planning play into this?
Okay, so for the purpose of derelict vehicles, now our Act says, I'm gonna just read a portion of it for you, right? So the purpose of the Act is for this, the accumulation of derelict vehicles, scrap metal, right? I don't want to take everything. Material change of use of land. All these things are covered that for the purpose of the Act, we could take action to remove those.
Okay.
Right? So derelict vehicles, what they cause, rats and road and different things.
Because we did have the health,
Yes.
Mr. Ram from the health department speak up of that nature. I don't know how physical planning itself fits into this.
Well, in the removal of these, right, we have the Act to cause these things to be removed, basically. So legally, we could give an enforcement notice or some other document to have these removed.
Okay.
Right? Basically.
So for instance, in physical planning, an individual parks a truck by the side of the road and decides he wants to sell. Physical planning can actually come in and make that.
Yes, because for our act covers all that area also, right? For movable caravan, you have to get permission to operate, right? So it covers. Let me just get it directly here, right? Mobile homes, caravans, trailers, shipping containers, food vans, right? All these things are covered, and you have to get permission to carry out these functions.
When you say permission, how would that process go for an individual who wanting to do such?
That is what I'm now going to explain, right? So permission meaning that you have to submit a document to the office, right? Normally, our law says you have to submit 3 copies of your plan, right? For a movable caravan, you may say, well, it's a unit already. How do you? But then you'll have to see how far from the road you're going to be putting it, how far from the boundaries. You have to show parking because you don't want to be creating a traffic hazard by just putting it on the side of the road. When a vehicle pull up, it becomes a problem.
Yes.
Right? So you'll have to do some form of documentation in terms of how the site is laid out so that the use of that space could be orderly rather than just you park next to a junction and then vehicle to pull up, then it become a traffic hazard, right? Also, these vehicles are mobile caravan or food trucks. They will produce waste. How you're treating with these waste? Water supply, how you're handling all those things. So the office will be looking at these items to ensure the safety of the public. So sometimes people just figure, well, you're enforcing against people because you just want to. But it's basically for safety reasons, right? And also to make sure that whatever is done in an orderly manner. Because a food truck establishment should not be a problem to nobody else. Because they're providing a service. If it is done properly, they provide a service and everybody happy. But everybody want to make a money, and which I understand the economics of things. But then we have to ensure that it is done in an orderly manner, basically.
In Grenada today, we see lots of that happening, where we see food trucks in particular areas, number of them were parked and so. Have all of them been given the permission to do so? Is number of them been given the permission to do so? From the physical planning point of view?
It's a nice question, and from my recollection, I cannot recall any food truck. I mean, I might be saying a lot of things here, but I cannot recall any food truck getting permission. Right?
That's interesting.
I can't recall that.
So if a matter of enforcement needs to be implemented right now, we could see where the number of food trucks we see around the different areas and around the island. If you decide to have an enforcement, all of them could actually be closed down or removed from wherever they are.
Well, it might not be the best thing to do, right, economically. But we have to look at it holistically and ensure that, because it's a livelihood for persons doing it. Yeah. But then you don't want to compromise yourself to say, well, that person had to make up money, they have a family. But it have a way that it should be done. And we'll look at each situation case by case. Because you have some food truck probably in a good location.
Yeah. But permission wasn't granted.
Well, it's true. And the Lord have a timing in which it should take action. Right? So we want to be just a rebel, just go in and just move with everything. That's not the purpose of us. Right? But it's to make sure that, I'm using this word a lot, is to ensure that it is done in an orderly manner.
No, I understand what you're saying, and I understand the whole process of what you're trying to say. It's a matter of getting people aware what's the process of terms that they should be doing right now.
So
Is it a reorganization of these things you were trying to say?
no, the law and the act been there a long time, right? Right? To get permission, I don't know if I should go down that route, but to get permission to operate a food truck or any other building or permission to develop, it is done in triplicates, three copies submitted to the office. I work with this form.
Yeah.
Right, this is an application form basically that they use to get permission. Right? You follow this form together with the drawings. If it is a food truck, probably we may have to tweak it a little bit because not all might be applicable in this form. But we'll look at the area and we'll ensure that it is fit for the purpose, basically.
All right. Let me ask this, because we spent a bit of a time talking on the food truck. Now we're looking at buildings that are, or structures that are put up around various areas around the island. What does the Act also speak of that, about that?
Well,
or is it the same as the...
Well, basically. So I'll go back to development because the law speak about development, and that is where, if we have to enforce, that is where we could hinge on, right? So you see that development, you say no person shall commence or carry out development of land in Grenada without the prior written permission of the authority, right? And development speaks to building, it speaks to laying of sheds, it speaks to roads, laying of pipe. That is what the law says. Yeah, so when we say development, let me just give you a straight. It relates to the carrying out of building, engineering, mining, or other operation on, over, under, making any material change in the use of land or even subdivision. Okay. Right? So it covers a lot.
A wide scope.
Yes. Right? So basically, if someone need to erect a building, they need to get a certain permission because it have a lot of implications. We speak about the implications for the road users. We speak about the implications even for the utilities. Like sometimes people put in things on pole, buying poles and so forth. When they come to service the line, that could be a problem. Pedestrians, right? And something, the general outlook, well, the beautification of drives that we're going towards now, sometimes the method in which they do these buildings, it's not sightly, you know, so it give rise to different rodents and stuff because it create hiding space for all these things.
Let's talk about the requirements now, per se, in terms of individuals wanting to, you know, we talk from the direct vehicles, we spoke about that in terms of the food trucks. You speak not at length, but you did speak about, you know, the folks that are building those small buildings around the island in terms of whether it's for you know, sale of food or small shops, you know. But one of the things that seems to be of concern to individuals these days, we talk in those roadside garages. Tell us what the legal requirements, the ramifications, you know, the development hazard and so forth from the physical planning point of view about that.
Okay. Again, roadside garage is, you have to get the same permission, right? So it falls within the same permission must be granted for the operation, right? With a garage, you will need parking space, right? You will need catchment to collect your oils. When you wash it, you must have oil separator to prevent the oil from going into the public drains and so forth. Garage is, well, the boat. One of the biggest concerns for us is the bodywork. Yeah. Because when you're spraying, that become a concern. And most of the garages that are established, they don't have any paint room, extractor fans, so the public, the persons around in the community always getting the bulk of the problem.
The fumes, right? And so forth.
Fumes, right? But they still have to get the permission. A garage at a commercial building have to be 10 feet from the boundary. All right? Depending on the road, we have different setback for different roads. All right? So it have to be, okay, let me just give an example. Morris Bishop Highway, all right? The distance for that road is, I think it's 46 feet. Let me just make sure.
And that's from the road.
From the center line of the road.
Yeah.
65 feet, right? Then we're looking at, let me see, Granance Main Road, go along the eastern and the western and the middle, go through St. Paul's. The setback for that is 30 feet. All right. A road like probably Monjaloo, branching off of St. Paul's Road, Monjaloo, Montparnasse, let you see Madagascar. I just choosing some road random. The setback for that is 26 feet from the middle of the road. So these buildings have to have this type of distance. Make it for garages now. It's not just a residence that you may have to park one vehicle. You will have 15 vehicles.
Yes.
And when the vehicles on the side of the road, then it's a bigger concern. So you have to have on your property accommodation to have these vehicles.
Is there anything in the law that says that how many vehicles a particular garage could accommodate or should be accommodating? Is there anything in the law that states that?
What we have is how much parking that should be accommodating for a commercial building. And it's by the square footage.
Okay.
Right? So for a commercial building, 500 square feet, I like to just make sure we get it straight, you know? Right. So for commercial space, right? So one space for every 500 square feet, right? And that specify here shop, office, warehouse. Now, I'll say this, these regulations that we're working with, it's from since 1988, right? The office is in the process of revising these, right? So all these might be updated to be more relevant.
And we even have the option where land space is becoming limited in certain areas right now, so they have to be updated.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. But as we have it now, that's the ratio we'll use for.
All right. Let's go over to Ms. Johnson, who's been sitting and listening a whole lot. Let's get some this perspective from the Ministry of Revenue. We did have the minister last week. He spoke a lot about some of the plans that was going through. You being the permanent secretary, give us a bit of an overview of the process and how things are going thus far in terms of the different projects that the ministry is undergoing.
Okay. So, GT, just to let you know that we would have started this visible transformation project October of last year. Just for, I can say, generally speaking, the results has been favorable.
All right.
The public interest in the project has been increasing as we move forward. We have been working with key stakeholders in the execution of this project. Of course, the Physical Development Authority here is one. We have also been collaborating with the Royal Grenada Police Force, the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority, the Ministry of Infrastructure, the Grenada Tourism Authority, and the Chamber of Commerce. I specifically named these stakeholders so that you can see that what is being embarked on is a collaborative approach in terms of the Visible Transformation Project.
Okay.
We have made some significant progress in that we were able to collect over 500 of those derelict vehicles. We have started in St. George. We went to the parish of St. Mark's. We went to St. David. And we intend to intensify that in the coming weeks by moving further again. We're doing more on the eastern side, going towards the St. David's area. So our focus right now is in terms of the cleanup aspect of things.
Okay.
And then we would be moving into the area as it relates to the the beautification.
So now you're into the cleanup stages of things. So
Yes.
cleanup. How's the cleanup process been going thus far? If we could get a little bit of insight on that.
Right. So as I indicated to you, for the cleanup, thus far we would have touched over 47 different communities in the terms of the cleanup area. I can probably say we have, let's say, about 95% of compliance as it relates with
Because
that.
I was just going to ask a question in terms of the resistance that you've been
Right.
undergoing and so forth, or
Right.
meeting up in terms of folks when you come to do the cleanup process. How was that been?
Right. So as I indicated to you, generally speaking, the compliance level has been very, very positive because we are doing this in collaboration with the Royal Grenada Police Force, and we are doing that guided by what is said in the law, physical planning, and as well as the Litter Prevention Act.
Okay.
Okay. I want to indicate that one of the things that we have noticed while we are doing the physical part of the cleanup, it is important also that we play on the psyche of persons, so that while we are embarking on the physical aspect of things, in order for this to be sustained, in order for this to be transformative, we must have a change in mindset in terms of how people view the environment and how people view their part in terms of the whole nation building exercise.
Is there are we going to see any time when we're going to have that bit of discussion, especially as you mentioned the how people will think about this?
Right.
You know, when someone continue doing something for a period of time, become accustomed. And I'm accustomed throwing my garbage there, and then you come tell me stop throwing my garbage there. Even
Right.
though I know it's wrong, but I've been
Right.
doing it so long.
Right.
You know, even go back to physical planning. I have erected this building there for a period of time, and I get comfortable.
Right.
Now you telling me that, you know, I should have been a certain distance away from the road, and I should be this, or I have my garage there. I've been doing it for the last 20 years or plus, and now, you know, what kind of you know, we're going to see some kind of interaction where, you know, we understand programs like this is also helping to pass the educational factor onto individuals how to work with the do's and don'ts. But are we going to see a more outreach program practically maybe implemented soon, where folks going to be with that into communities? They're probably individuals who may not be looking at this program right now.
Right.
You understand?
And I'm very happy that you mentioned this, and probably it's timely because, as I indicated to you, we also have to work on the psyche. So one of the things that we will now intensify is in terms of our promotional campaigns. So you will be seeing very soon, we having some billboards that would be placed throughout Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique in strategic location. And the purpose of the billboard is also to assist us in promoting people's participation in this visible transformation process in a sustainable manner. So the fact is that while government has a part to play in ensuring the environment is clean, every individual, every boy and girl in Grenada also have a pivotal role to ensure that the environment is clean, safe, and it is pleasing to the eyes.
All right. We due for a break, folks. Let's take it, and we come back and we should chat some more. Stay with us here, folks. It's To The Point for today, Wednesday. We coming right back.
Get ready to experience the ultimate Spice Mass launch 2023. On Friday, April 28th, the stadium car park will be transformed into an electrifying arena of raw talent and energy. Starting at 5:30 p.m., you'll be blown away by the incredible lineup of artists set to grace the stage, including Boise, Terra the Governor, Lil Natty and Thunder, Lava Man, Looney Spark and Electrify, Jab King, Lil Kerry, Lil Jello, Dash, Crave, Mozo, Scala, and many more. But that's not all. Prepare to be amazed by the traditional mass, Moko Jumbies, Jab Jab, Short Knee, and Veko. Plus, your reigning Panorama champs, Co-op and Comancheros, will also be there to add to the excitement. And the best part, it's completely free. The Stadium Car Park is the place to be on Friday, April 28th. Get ready for an epic night that you'll never forget. Spice Mass, the evolution.
No, girl, that was yesterday. I can't believe all they said that. She didn't.
Mom, can you help me, please? I'm having some trouble understanding.
No, you serious?
Mom, can you help me, please?
So y'all sit down and say that? Okay then, bye. Here. Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's ensure that you're well prepared for this exam.
Parents, you have a crucial role to play in helping to prepare your children for the CPEA exams. Help them or seek additional help so that they can revise the concepts they learn at school and give them a better chance to be successful and move on to the next phase of their lives. A message from the National Parenting Program, Ministry of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs.
I say welcome back to our listeners and viewers this morning to The Point for today, Wednesday, the 26th. My guest this morning, we have Ms. Peron Johnson. Of course, she's the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Implementation. We also have Mr. Hector from the Physical Planning.
Houston, Elcock.
Houston, I was just keeping the Houston Elcock. Sorry, baby, my bad with names. I'm the worst with names anyway. But never mind. Houston Elcock, welcome back. Welcome back. A question I want to get in with Mr. Elcock before we proceed. To continue to speak with Ms. Johnson. Let's talk about the regulation concerning new buildings from the Physical Planning Unit inspections. Let's speak a bit about that. Because I understand this program is a form of deterring people from wanting to do these things over again. We know all these things have been removed from the derelict, I know the instances where people are building all these structures. But give us in terms of the regulation concerning new buildings, in terms of individual wanted. And also for the benefit for the listeners out there, we'll be able to entertain a few of your phone calls just after we speak to Mr. Elcock. We probably entertain them. See someone is calling already. You certainly will get a chance to call in.
All right, so new buildings. Basically, once you want to erect any building in Grenada, you make a submission to the office, right? And that submission, if it's residential, we have all the conditions that are set out for residential building and also commercial buildings. I could just give a brief what you need to submit for residents very quickly, I know time. So for a residential submission, basically you do a location plan, which is going to give you the location where the building going to be. Site will give you all the conditions for the site. 6 feet from the boundary. Your waste disposal system should be 10 feet. Distance from the road, depending on where it is, it could be 20 feet, it could be 23 feet, it could be 26 feet, or it could be 65 feet. That's the different category of roads that we have so far. We know we had to update our regulations, so that might change, right? And basically, all your engineering drawings, your architectural drawings, submit to standard of the code, right? So we work with two things, the Act and our building code. Building code and the guidelines, which covers, the building guidelines covered building under 2,400 square feet. The building code give buildings for over 2,000 square feet, right? Okay. So that is the guidelines, right? For commercial buildings, the difference here is the distance from the boundary. Parking space. Now, all development must have parking space, right? And let me just speak to the building that we might want to put alongside the road. That too have to get permission, right? Because that is what creating a bigger challenge for us.
Correct.
Because, I mean, on a daily basis, we receive more than, I'll just cut the number short, more than 15 plans per day for buildings, residential building, and so forth. We receive these in office, but for the booths on the side of the road, we don't receive none of these. And that is the section that that is unregulated, and it's a problem, a challenge. So in correcting these, some people may have to be told that the building have to come down. And really and truly, if we have to fix it, it have to be fixed. Right? We cannot compromise because of we know somebody or whatever. If you had, and that's what I like with this group here. You have to come down, and it's coming down.
Now tell me, when you mentioning this, it brings an idea to mind, and I know probably going to have individuals who's going to call and speak to that. Because we know there are areas that are challenging, right? Let's be specific. You know, the Port Highway. We know the like, if I could use a word that just, we know the mess that is going on there. What is physical planning thoughts on solving that problem, if it could be solved?
Well, I was hoping you didn't say Port Highway. But that area,
Yes.
we already tagged this building to move.
Yeah.
Right? They need to move. Right? Some of the guys, we went on the ground there already, and you have a gentleman, he actually put in concrete there. And it's a problem when you look at the playing field, you look behind it, you realize that the drainage, everything block up. So it's an eyesore that need to be clean. I say it just so, but it's really actually a problem. I know the persons there are earning a living, a daily bread, right? So physical planning role is not to have a big stick, just to move, right? We will plan, because it's not a matter of just, okay, these things are looking good, move them out. Right? We have persons who actually making a living. So the best solution for this is to come up with a better arrangement for these booths. Right? That may take a little financing and may take a little more planning to do, and it's not just as we could just get up tomorrow and say, well, we're going to put them here, there, but it have to be worked out.
All right.
But they need to, that area has to be cleaned up.
Where does the Ministry of MIT come into this?
Right,
And
so I just wanted to make that point. And Mr. Elcock would have indicated that it's not just moving for moving place, because it must be a conscious decision to ensure that the persons are not displaced and be made worse off.
Yes.
So then in doing that, we would ensure that whatever alternative that are being looked at, or whatever alternative arrangement would be pursued, that the persons will not be placed in a situation where they are worse off. Because
is there any timeline for this? Is there any timeline for this?
But this is one of the next area that we are looking at, and because if you notice that we have just completed the cleanup of the Lagoon Road area. So coming up from the Lagoon Road, we intend to then attack the area as outlined by the...
We do have a caller. Let's see if we can entertain this caller. Caller, good morning and welcome.
Good morning to all. How are you guys today?
Doing pretty all right.
See, just to hear what my good friend is saying from MIT is that the Lagoon Road project, where the collaboration with that thing is from the companies that holds the development there, is an excellent job. And what you have done again is on the Wall Street is an excellent job. But my question is this: when you see people who move or temporarily move, or maybe wherever they have gone, maybe not relocated, but these are people who are self-employed, right? Yeah.
Yes. Let's go.
That's self-employed. I believe in development of, as much as we move in them, but they should be helping in a way to find a better place and in a better place and a cleaner environment. Yeah, especially again we see on the Port Highway in Saigon area, whatever it is being called, in the entrance of Montu. There are a few people who are squatting along the Grants Valley to Lansipine area. These people, we all want to see them move, but you're moving them. You can't just move them home. Yeah, so I will kindly ask for the person from the Ministry of Planning to come up with plans that you're moving them, but to develop them as well and help them. And my good friend from MIT, it will be very nice of you to put plans in place whereby these people could be helped through the development and fund from GDB, where they can grow their business, because it is very good to see what people grow. That is what we should be doing, and more development should be done even where we see these things are taking place, not only in the south, but any other areas as well. Because these people are doing tremendous. At least they're helping themselves to help their family. So we should help them and develop, not just to move them and create chaos. Yeah, but moving them is one, as I say, but we should relocate them in a better environment where they can even become a more bigger business person. Yeah?
All right, thank you, caller. Thank you for your contribution. You anybody want to respond to the caller?
So thank you very much, caller, and you are absolutely correct, and that is exactly what we are doing. So, like for example, a case in point, you would notice the soup master area. That area was cleaned, and we will then move into erecting a structure that will allow him to be able to conduct his trade and earn an income as he was doing in the past. So that is exactly what we will be doing. And when we say something, we definitely will be pursuing that.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a question from someone via the Facebook page, and they're saying, is there any height regulation in terms of residential areas, like say someone living on a hill, but the person is building a 5-story in front of them, or a 2-story blocking their view in some sort of, from the physical planning point of view?
Our regulations speaks to, remember I said that regulation is a pretty old regulation and it's have to be updated, right? But it speaks to 3 stories, and he also says that the minister can allow buildings to be 4 stories or more, right? I know a lot of persons normally call regarding view. Our law didn't speak to view. It speaks to ventilation. It speaks to lighting, right? So once these are not hindered, a plan can be approved for 4 stories, 5 stories, 6 stories, right? Once all the amenities could be given on site, for example, parking, because if it's an apartment, then the parking per room will come into play. So you must have the parking and then all the other amenities, waste disposal and drainage and so forth.
Right. Let's entertain another caller, because we may have to wrap up this segment shortly. Caller, good morning and welcome.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Telesford. Greetings and greetings to you guys. I did not get the name of the female guest.
That's Ms.
The
Peron,
gentleman called Mr.
Johnson.
Elcock. He has explained certain things here, and I get clearly from what he has said that over the years, prior to this new administration, a great deal of the things, yes, you may say that the ministries or the department ought to have been doing, had to have been doing, were not done. Question, was there a particular reason? Can you tell us why you hadn't been doing your work as stipulated by the act which you so nicely refer to, sir? Why hadn't you been doing, and why hadn't these things been observed prior to be corrected? To the lady, I say the following. When you tell me that as of last year, you would have, your department would have started an exercise, ... What you're telling me that you did not do it, can you tell me why you hadn't started it, why you hadn't done it? For what it's worth, I ask these questions. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Will you?
Thank you also, caller.
Okay. Thank you very much, caller, and very important question. And a project of this magnitude, an exercise of this magnitude, one of the things that is necessary is that you have to have the political will. So in order for you to be able to do this, because this activity has been attempted on numerous occasions in the past, but for various reasons, they have not gotten as far as we got.
Yes.
And then sometimes you have to take the hard decision for the public good. And this is what we are championing via this project. We are taking the hard decision for the public good. At the end of the day, there may not be popularity with some of the decision taken to date, but when you look at the transformation and when you look at the benefit, not just to the to visitors, but to local, then you will realize the significance of undertaking this initiative.
All right. Mr. Elcock, you want to chime in terms of what the caller mentioned, if you want to respond in any way as well?
Yeah, I will respond. Our office, what is a nice word I could use? Physical planning, over the years, was not given the manpower that is necessary to carry out all these functions. At this moment, now we are given a little more manpower. So a lot of things would be happening as it relates from physical planning standpoint. Because you cannot have an act and have it on a desk with nobody to lift it, right? So more or less, that was the situation. So now we are on a new mandate going forward. Things would be different and things would be happening, but we are not going to bully people, right? Because as I say, we have to do this thing in an orderly manner. You have things that was done before, we have to see how we could correct it and cause it to function in an orderly way, right? So going forward from here, that's our mandate, to make sure that development is done in an orderly manner and is harmonious with the environment and our citizen.
All right. We may be able to entertain one more caller. This caller been on hold for a wee bit. Let's just entertain and guess that caller chimed down. So here what? Mr. Elcock, let's entertain the call. Let's just entertain the caller because they've been on for a while. Good morning to you, caller. Welcome. You may be my final caller for this morning.
Good morning. Yeah, Mr. Elcock, your friend is calling. I have dealt with you on some of the things you have spoken of. I feel that some of these things, this measurement to clear up certain places could have been done. As you have told me, once you had the manpower, and I want to be a member of your manpower because I think I have the skill and the tactics to get it done. Once you educate people, you won't have any problem. The first thing you have to do, not you alone, all the different departments in government, the ministers and so on, even the schools, is to educate people, and you'll get less resistance. And maybe when you go into them, you'll tell them, well, I didn't tell you already, so you are at fault. And this is what's important. But I'm hearing that people like Mr. D are now coming and say you have to educate people. I don't know, because he's some sitting on some high position, they would take what he has said. But with me, I'm sitting in a low position, so people will not notice what I'm saying has been substantial. That's all I have to tell you. But you know, it's your friend that is calling, not your enemy. So I'll support you and the government 100 or 200%. Just call me and give me a good remittance, and I'll be with you. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you for your contribution this morning. And gentlemen, lady, we may have to wrap the program for the day. We did go over our time a wee bit, but there was some information that we really did have to get through. There was that plea you wanted to make, Ms. Johnson. I don't know if you want to get it in before we take a wrap for today.
Oh, thank you. I just want to say I want to make a call, because this project, in order for the Visible Transformation Project to be sustained, we want to ensure that we have all stakeholders on board. So I want to take the opportunity to invite corporate Grenada to be part of something that is transformative, something that will allow every Grenadian to benefit. So we are asking you to come on board, whether you want to sponsor a mile, whether you want to sponsor a billboard, whether you want to sponsor one of the green area that we would be creating throughout Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Every corporate business in Grenada do have a part to play in the transformation process. So you are invited to be part of this.
All right. Mr. Elcock, any closing statements you want to make?
Well, what I'm going to say is that physical planning is here to work with the public. Feel free to come into the office. We are located in GCNA complex at the moment. We are willing to advise, because if we don't interact with the public, then we could continue having this problem. So feel free to visit us and have a discussion. If you have any concern, feel free to come and we'll discuss and see how best we can solve the problem.
All right. I want to thank both of you for being here this morning. Sorry that I had to cut you short just a wee bit. We do have another guest that we need to entertain. And hope we could, next time we have again, we could have another opportunity to speak more. Should be entertaining you on another, of course, department pretty soon. So until then, have yourself a great day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you very much to the listening public. We do appreciate being here, and we will be back next week again.
All right. Hey, folks, it's to the point. We're going to take a short break, come back. We do have another guest that we do have to entertain, and we come right back. Stay with us, folks.
Do you know, when you play the games of the National Lotteries Authority, you are supporting sports, culture, and nation building in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique?
Hi, I am Junior Murray, cricket coach, sports enthusiast, and a former West Indies cricketer. I endorse the games of the NLA 100%. For the past 40 years, the NLA has been funding many sporting activities, including competition for schools and clubs, and for athletes to participate in overseas tournaments such as the Carifta Games and regional cricket tournaments. Additionally, they made it possible for you, the public, to view local, regional, and international tournaments from the comfort of your homes. For those reasons, I play the game of the NLA. Even if I do not win, I know Grenada always wins.
Yes, when you play all the games, the NLA in turn supports sports, culture, and nation-building activities throughout the Tri-Island state.
High-impact doors and windows can be yours. Now available at Caribbean Shutters Windows and Doors, agents for Domus Windows and Doors. Get custom-made UPVC products with a 20-year warranty on frames and a 5-year warranty on hardware, complete with installation and so much more. Visit our showroom at 11 Frequente Industrial Park, St. George, or call 439-1293, or visit our website at www.domuswindows.com.
Records at the traffic department shows that a total of 1,447 accidents were reported for the year 2012, which includes 3 road fatalities. 2,946 accidents were reported for the year 2022, which includes 8 road fatalities. This is a significant increase of 104%. This is alarming. When a family tragically loses a loved one, does it matter whether by means of a gun or a motor vehicle? To avoid accidents, drivers and pedestrians alike must exercise extreme caution when using the road.
Welcome to the highly anticipated second season of Caribbean Medical TV, the first and only medical TV series that showcases the Caribbean and the emerging issues on all health and wellness forums in our region. Like season 1, the voices of our very own citizens, our local and regional doctors and medical experts forged the basis of the show. This season, we take the first groundbreaking original show even further. This series aims to empower our people with knowledge, from ways of detecting to ways of healing ourselves, protecting citizens with chronic diseases from COVID-19, while showing how they can manage their conditions effectively and safely receive needed health care while preserving what constitutes the very core of our Caribbean culture, its predilection for flavor, spirit, and rhythm. This is truly a holistic wellness agenda for our Caribbean people.
It's Classic 105.5, Classic 105.9, GBN TV. Once again, it's to the point. But here's what we're going to have to call it a wrap for today's program. I promised that we were going to have another guest, but for whatever reason, the guest has canceled in terms of we entertaining that guest. So, folks, that's why I'm going to take a wrap for today, a bit earlier than usual. But I want to thank the folks from the Ministry of MIT and the Physical Planning who was here before. Thanks to them so much for being here and sharing the necessary information, which they did. So until we have another program once again, that's why I say goodbye for the To The Point program for today. Have yourself a good one, folks. Until tomorrow. Goodbye.